Hello, everybody. I welcome you all to another enthralling episode of Beyond Boundaries. This talk show is brought to you by Worldwide Scholarly Alliance in partnership with Silverzone Olympiads. It's here we create a space for all the edu leaders who are doing so much in the field of education. It's here we give them a platform to share unki kahani, unhi ki zubani. I'm Anushri, your host, and today I'm here at the Sri Ram Universal School, Greater Noida, West. I'm in the presence of Ms. Jyoti Roy, the Principal, Junior School. Welcome, ma'am. Ma'am here is an IT professional turned educator. I mean, that's amazing, right? She's known as an administrator, innovator, and academician. Ma'am, over to you. How do you feel?
Namaste. Thank you so much, Anushri, for that beautiful introduction. And sometimes you get to know about yourself more when somebody is reading your introduction. So I really love going through that. And thank you for giving this opportunity, because sometimes, आपकी कहानी, आपकी जुबानी सुनाने के लिए भी कोई एक मौका चाहिए होता है. Thank you so much for giving that to me.
To be here in your presence with your 20 plus years of experience, I'm sure I'm going to take away a lot of learnings from you today.
I hope so.
So, ma'am, let's begin. And this one question is bothering me a lot. IT professional turned educator. How did that happen?
Okay, so if you listen to my story, it's full of turns and curves, right? So, when I was a student in school, I always, I used to find medical field very glamorous, and whenever I used to see these doctors in their white coats, I used to always feel that I want to be a doctor. So when I completed my schooling and I went for this competitive exam, I couldn't get through the first time. So I then decided to take on literature and then give it another year. And that's when I just, tried my hands on programming, and I started exploring that field. And then I realized that was my calling, because I used to find it so interesting. It was something so tangible that you write a program and you can see it happening. Like, you could control actions on a thing. So, and always I had a dream of becoming an animator, which I could not. So that still kept aside as my dream unfulfilled. But yes, so that was when I started testing my hands on it. And then I realized that, I had the aptitude for it. And I never gave my DPMT or CPMT, that used to be the medical test there.
Yeah.
So I never gave that again, and that's when I started my course. After some time, when you start working in an organization and when you are doing things there, it does get monotonous after a while. So even if learning coding was something great, but once you are in corporate. So I was with ITC, and then there I realized that you take care of one part of it, and which used to be support systems analysis. So that becomes little monotonous. So that was my journey as.
And then suddenly you woke up कि आज मुझे teacher बनना है.
नहीं, उसके पीछे भी कहानी है. So right after my college, I was with LSR and I was doing literature. Then from there, that was my final year.
Okay.
And our principal, Mrs. Meenakshi Gopinath, she was there in our farewell party, and she just announced that, there is the Sri Ram School, because it was the same group.
Yeah.
So she said that they're looking for some creative teachers to come on board, and fresh ones, so that, they are... they're with fresh ideas and trainable and all that. So why don't you go and try out? So it was with my principal's recommendation that I reached the Sri Ram school, and I went through the interview. But when I was going for that, let me tell you one thing, I was not a teacher by choice initially.
Okay.
So when I was going for that interview, my father, I told him that, why should I go for that interview? I don't want to be a teacher. And as I said, doctor was glamorous, then IT was glamorous, corporate was glamorous, teacher was never a glamorous job. So I said that no, I don't want to be a teacher. So he said, first you grab the opportunity. First you grab the letter in your hand. What are you rejecting? You don't have anything in your hand.
Yeah.
So first you get it. If you get through, then you say, I am not doing this. You at least experience the interview and all that.
Yes, yes.
And I think, there is this supreme power who knows everything and who puts you in the correct place at the correct time. So I went there and I went through the interviews and everything and got through. And when I started working, I was very young at that time, right after college. So when I was there, that 1 year transformed my life. When I was with children and when the kind of love and affection and connect that I could make with them. But surely I was very young at that time. So, but then I moved back because I had to pursue my computer studies. So I had to go back to that field, worked there for 7 years. But, this memory of 1 year stayed on with me. And after 7 years, then I decided to come back to the field.
So it was like a calling, a divine calling that pulled you back.
So when I was coming back to this field, there were my friends who always, they were not encouraging me that you should go and be a teacher, because they said that IT field is something that you leave it today and tomorrow you want to come back, you can't, because you have to then refresh your skills. It's ever changing. So you have to refresh your skills and do some new courses to come back to the field. And so that was when I decided. So there were two things. As I said, I was a teacher by chance. So that was one thing, that I could have gone to any other place and done something else. I had my child also, who was very young at that time, and I wanted to have some time for him too. So that was the combination that I came. Then I could only think of Shriram because I had experienced my time there. So इसलिए फिर मैं वापस वहाँ गई, और लक अच्छा था कि उस समय वहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट भी थी, and I got through.
So ma'am, coming to what does being a teacher mean to you? I mean, the attributes and traits associated to being a teacher. So do you agree to them, or do you have something additional to talk about?
So I think, the first thing that a teacher has to have is a connect with children. If you have that connect once, if you succeed in making that connect, then getting through any concept, anything, it's a cakewalk, because it's very, very simple afterwards, because then you have got them on your side.
And do you believe a teacher should be know-it-all?
Not at all. Not at all. So I will give you an example, like when I was a teacher, and there were some children, they will always, and IT is one field, they will always be 10 steps ahead of you. So they would come back and they would talk about things that, I may not be aware of, because, after a while you kind of disconnect. You have what you do. So they would come up with things that they are doing and what they have learned online or whatever. And I used to be blown by that, and I would always ask them to take a session with the class, and it was peer tutoring. And there was one session we used to have where these children used to train their peers on that particular thing. And slowly we started building a club. And that's when we realized that, there is so much to do.
Yeah.
And how IT can actually bridge the gap in so many ways. And these children being elder ones, they could do something for the younger children. So they had projects where they were working for the younger children there. So it was amazing. I mean, not even a single day of my teaching life which I feel I have not enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And my children are still connected with me, and they keep telling me about the great things that they are doing all around the world.
So ma'am, you were able to surface through it very easily. You took it as an opportunity for learning for students. Not every teacher is, capable enough of accepting कि मुझे तो ये नहीं पता मैं कैसे बच्चों को करूँ. तो for those teachers, what advice will you give?
So I think, it's just stress that you're creating for yourself. you become a student with your students, and it becomes very easy in the classroom. Children also, they get that sense of pride in teaching you. They feel, oh wow, I could tell this to my teacher, and teacher is no different. She also, if she can tell that she does not know this thing, I can also easily say that, otherwise children also feel very hesitant in sharing that I don't know this. Right, so
absolutely.
So the teachers, if they are open in accepting their whatever they are, and we are, till the time we are not lifelong learners, we cannot develop, we cannot bring up lifelong learners, because, and that one can become only and only if you accept the fact that you don't know everything.
Very true, very true. What deep words, ma'am. As a teacher for past 20 years, you have noticed this child is very good with athletics or sports or computer में बहुत दिमाग है. Parents want the child to be a doctor.
Yeah.
क्योंकि medically भी, मतलब biology also he does very nice. So how do you help the child here? The child is coming to you, ma'am, मुझे तो ये करना है, parents का ये कहना है. तो in these 20 years, I'm sure you've come across this
many a times. One was very recent. So it's very heartbreaking sometimes that the child is good and is enjoying that particular bit. But, with going with our education system, and right now, whatever the state is, we end up finding a middle path. So we convince the parent to some extent. Okay. We convince the child to some extent, and we find a middle path where, some adjustments if required, maybe, for some of the tests which are going to happen, which are internal, so that can be done later on. Some those kind of adjustments which are not going to harm the academic journey of the child.
तो आप junior school में हैं, तो ये how would you train your child as young as maybe 5 years old, 6 years old कि बच्चा this is not right, this is right. तो वो कैसे होता है?
Yeah, so we have this, we have an ongoing session. Cyber safety is what we take it as. However, it also has screen time and parental supervision and your, not clicking links, whatever comes on your phone or whatever. So we start training them from the very beginning, as much they can understand. So if they know that, taking a toffee from a stranger is bad, then, interacting with a stranger online is also bad. So in the same, we talk about screen time. And then they do an exercise where they are calculating the screen time they have, because sometimes what they feel that if they are on the computer, that's their screen time. So now, how much time phone, how much time on TV, how much time on the computer or whatever. When you calculate all of it, so the teacher does it. For younger children, it's not easy to understand what it is. So then you tell them, okay, this is what it is coming out to be. So what do you think? And when you talk to the children, they come up with answers themselves. They know it, that, okay, what can it do? It can harm my eyes. What?
Yeah.
So why do you spend so much time on it? So sometimes they don't go out to play. Sometimes parents are not available. So there are different reasons over there. So we then have sessions for parents where we tell them about the time that they can give to the child, the screen time, plus if there is any a net nanny kind of a thing that they can install, so that if the child is class 4 or 5 who are very smart in accessing the net or whatever, and you don't get to know, so those kind of apps and utilities we tell them about. Also, strategies like 20-20-20 rule, where you tell the child that, okay, fine, after every 20 minutes, you must be doing this and this. And believe me, they take each of this, because this rule, we don't give them just like that. First, we talk about it, let it come from them, okay? And then they talk about the things, and slowly. So for younger children, it is only the screen time that we talk about. And also that nothing comes for free. So if they get excited, they get very, they click on these bananas or whatever, something, so that we take care of.
So ma'am, what I love about this is कि आप मना नहीं कर रहे हैं.
नहीं,
क्योंकि मना नहीं कर
सकते हो आप, क्योंकि अगर आप मना कर भी रहे हैं तो वो इफेक्टिव नहीं होगा, because the reason why it is there is some solid reason behind that. So to come out of it, you need an even more solid reason. So you have to sometimes scare them off. Sometimes we do also talk about very extreme things that
The
can
side
happen, right? So heavy specs that might, when you will be playing, you might. But then you have to be very sensitive towards people who are wearing specs. So you can't even talk about it like something different or whatever.
Wow. So it's a challenge, and I believe your school is taking it up beautifully.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
With that, ma'am, you've been awarded with so many accolades. And please, I would like to know, the audience would like to know what these awards were, why were you endowed with them, how is your journey, how do you feel about it?
I feel very, very proud of being awarded because I have been with the Shri Ram schools since the very beginning, and that's one place I call my home away from home, because I also feel somewhere it connects very well with my upbringing, the kind of value systems that we have been raised. So I find a sync between that. And so when I came to this school, and I actually explored every horizon, and I have been very open to learning whatever came my way. As I said that, different challenges came my way, but at all times I have tried to find something new, do something new. In fact, there are two of these mega events that are now well known all over the world. They are so you have to think.
Yeah.
So my school recognized that, and our founder, Mrs. Manju Bharatram Award. So that was something that I was bestowed upon, that you can see out there. That's my most prized possession. And then there was another one which I was awarded for distinguished contribution towards elementary education.
With awards also comes responsibilities. You now want to live up to that name. So how has the journey been after the awards?
So if I tell you truthfully, the award did not come anywhere in my, so even if the award wasn't there, my dedication, my passion was where it was. And after getting the award, yes, it recognizes what you've done. It's kind of an acknowledgement. But after that also, I have always tried to, yes, one has to, if you get Mrs. Manju Bharatram Award, so then you have to live up to that name, and you have to ensure that, whatever you're doing is, going in the correct direction, and what vision she had for this school, we are following that. So yes, it is a challenge, but I just try.
Ma'am, you talk a lot about value systems, values, morals. So how is this school Indian? Like, how is it like Indian in nature, in perspectives, in ideologies?
Okay, so when we were setting these rules, the values for the school, I was part of the school at that time also. And we felt that, before everything else, one has to have pride in one's own heritage. So that was the time when there was a lot of Western influence in affluent families, like the Shri Ram school mostly has people from there, they used to have at that time. So that Western influence was showing up in the children also. And more so, like when even they were doing creative writing, they would use Western names rather than Indian names. They would, so there was a lot of influence of Greek mythology when, if you see what they are reading and all that. So that was one thing when we felt that, children have to take pride in being an Indian first of all. And that's when we started with our Namaste. So we greet everyone with Namaste. And now it's ingrained in the system, everybody. And you would see the guard, straight from the guard to these, to bhaiyas, to every single child, every teacher, every administrator. We use this as our medium of greeting. So that's one thing. Then otherwise also, whatever we do, we have a touch of Indianness there.
Ma'am, I firmly believe that I may call myself Anushri, you may call yourself Mrs. Roy. But we are not that. We are an amalgamation of all the people we have met in our lives. They've rubbed themselves on us. We have learned from them, good, bad also. So do you have such people in your life whom you have rubbed on of the most?
Positive, negative?
Positive.
Yes. So I would say that first of all, my father, because my whole philosophy, my values, everything comes from him, because he has been a mentor throughout. And after that, in my professional life, it's my director, the Shriram Schools, Mrs. Manika Sharma ma'am. She has been one mentor who has, at any point of time, wherever I had a dilemma, wherever I faced a problem, no matter, she was the director of the school. She was the principal first when I joined, and then she became the director. She was so approachable, and today also when I'm sitting here, anything that I feel what I should be doing in this situation, I somehow get guidance from her. Because I think of her sitting in that situation, and knowing her since so long, I know that, she would have done this. So I think all my mentors there were great.
AI and tech in education. Your thoughts on that?
See, AI is one thing.
Let's talk about AI then, just AI.
So AI is something that again is a tool, a fabulous tool. And if I talk of AI, generative AI is one step further, and so it's a great tool. Again, it has to be used in the correct way.
Wisely.
So, it has to be used very wisely and sparingly also, because sometimes what happens that, for children, if we are introducing it to students, again, it's something you cannot stop. It is there, and children must have explored it even before you explored it. So it's there for them, and they know about it. Now you have to find the tools to figure out whether whatever they've submitted is done using AI or it's their original work. So I think again, middle path has to be found where there is creativity, there is your personal creation, where you take help from AI to make it better as an assistant. Don't make it your master again. So you are going to AI for anything and everything. Like, these days there are these AIs which can make painting for you, they can make songs for you, they can make rap songs and everything. And we always used to ask the children to make it themselves, because that's how they imbibed the thing. So I think for younger children, for very young students, it should not be used. For elder ones, you cannot stop it. So you have to find ways as teachers and as a school administrator that how they use it sparingly and in the best possible way.
Ethically. And ma'am, any parting words for the audience?
I think I can only say that the process of life is learn, unlearn, relearn. Let's follow that, each one of us. And that's how we are going to become better versions of ourselves. And we realize why we are here in this world, the purpose of our life.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, for your wisdom, for sharing your experience. It was lovely having to be here with you today.
So much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We were in a great conversation with ma'am, and we've learned a lot. We are taking away a lot of learning today. So thank you for staying up with us till the end. Sign up for more.